Hey, you guys. The post that I just did is doing really well in the human experience, but it's doing really well. And what that means is that there's more of us who see the polarity. And if you've been here for a little bit of time, you know that I have this understanding of Earth School and the ascension process through your pain. And since I saw the feedback on the post and I see how many people are sending it out and how many views it's getting, I feel inclined to come here, or I guess like I got the impulse from my high self. So how I understand what purgatory is, okay? So this is how I see it. I see it as a flashlight. And so I got like this blank piece of paper. And so the flashlight is way up here. So it's the brightest, most like silvery gold light, right? So we have a flashlight, and the photons of light, as they're coming out of the flashlight, are really thick, close together, right? And as they go away, they get smaller and smaller, further away until they're all the way in darkness. And the spiritual practices and rituals and energetic tools for the anti-material universe that I learned to bring myself through shadow work last year, when I literally like had the break in my consciousness to be able to see both sides of the coin. All of the stuff that I researched and learned, I applied to help me cope with my emotional pain when I would discover another core wound. And these perspectives allowed me to kind of like maintain a neutral emotional state while I viewed the negative emotions that I was experiencing in meditation and seeing how I created them in my life. When I used those tools to keep my body more in a neutral position, I was able to align with the energy of the positive emotions of those pain points, because I was able to perceive the experience in love instead of fear. So that's the ascension process. And that's going through using the third dimension of your body with the dimension of your mind to then rise above both of those. So this is space and this is time. And when we're able to perceive our space and time events with love, that's the fifth dimension, and that's the Christ consciousness that is the only begotten Son of God. So if we look at it from like the physics level and like the earth level, right? So if there's this extension of source that has extensions coming off of it, some of the spiritual practices talk about it being an actual ray of the sun. And if we know what we know about a flashlight and what we know about feeling separate and fear emotions on the emotional scale or love emotions on the emotional scale, what we can see here is that there's a breaking point of the emotional scale of this being heaven and this being hell. And hell is just thinking that you're separate from source. So if we're a photon of light that Yeshua would teach about, if we're a photon of light further and further from source, we're still a photon of light. We're never actually separate. So there's no past, present, or future timelines. It's only your awareness as the human on the earth plane where space and time connect for our reality, to be consciously aware that this is all it is. And the spiritual practices and tools and rituals are all the ways that we connect. So I had a conversation with a friend, and the joke was, God, I don't want to come back here again. And I said, and so we like started to talk about our ascension process, and he ascended in 2019. And when he made that choice to choose love instead of fear by actions that he took in his physical body existence, his life completely transformed, and he's consciously building a reality. So he joined his mind with love, which is the Christ mind, which is the second coming of Christ. So how we do it, there's a lot of people who teach all different ways to do it. There's, you call in your ancestors, you connect with them, you see psychics, you see energy healers, you see astrologers. There's a whole community of people that know how this works, that you learn how to do it. And I know it on the emotional, chemical, and vibrational level, because how I've experienced separation and fear is by sabotaging myself and viewing myself as all those things. So what I do is understand how you connect physically to the spirit side, which is the vibration and light body emotion, vibration, emotion, and then there's the molecule emotion in the body. And when you get those two on the same level, because you're consciously going through purgatory, your own purgatory, you ascend. So the emotions that you have to discover inside yourself are the 7 deadly sins. Where are they on here? I just had it. Oh, I think the page. Pride, envy, wrath, acedia, I don't know what that is. Avarice, gluttony, and lust. Basically, you have to go to your deepest fears. So I went to my fear, my anger, my hate, my jealousy, and my envy. And that's how you can unite those two bodies. Because as I've united my two bodies, I've lost weight, I've lost 20 pounds. I'm learning more about why my body has certain pain patterns with concrete evidence. So I'm building the process. I've ascended, but I keep going, because the ultimate fear is going to be now I'm going to eventually be separate from my body. So when we go through purgatory to the death portal, if we go into it with fear, because now we're fearing being separate from our body, if we choose that, we're choosing to stay again. If we go into the death portal and our death experience as, I know this is a transition, this physical body is no longer useful, I've always been with Source, we're not going to go through this again. So this is why it's an awakening. This is why it's ascension. Yeshua taught this. A lot of people have been teaching this, and it's been suppressed. And I just learned it for body. Bye. Hello, everyone. My name is Lauren Cercione. I am a 20-year